Start recording. All right, cool. So,
Yes.
few things. And if you're okay with this, I was thinking we might take a more collaborative storytelling tone for this session.
I would like, sure.
If
I
that
can,
is okay. We definitely can get in there and play some scenes out because I will probably want that. But what happens in today's session can go a lot of different ways, and I don't have firm plans per se, so much as some vague ideas that depends on the thing. So here's the combination opportunity and dilemma we have here. So, the time jump between last session and this upcoming session on Saturday is going to be effectively one day in real time because Sylvia is calling the coterie together again at 2 a.m. the following evening.
mm.
You, Eli the player, and Sal the character are not going to be there.
Oh. Oh,
So
that's
it's
interesting.
time for us to figure out a couple of things. Notably, what you do between, because the last you were seen, according to our cinematic language of thing, you just told Sylvia you were going out for some fresh air and left Tartarus.
Yeah.
And notably, if I may suppose, you are not going to show up the following evening when she calls a coterie together. So we get to determine what you're up to.
All right. So I have one idea, possibly.
Absolutely.
Sal would probably make up for silence with Anita for a moment, but also, should I roleplay this out probably or?
Scenes with Anita? Probably.
Well, she would text her something like, "Sorry for the silence.
Hmm.
Things have come up. I'm back in the field." But
Okay.
I apologize. I know I've asked for a lot and I've been absent, but I do need a favor.
What's up?
Can I see Tavish?
Sure.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Um,
Still in the same place as last time?
no, he's in. Where's a good place for McTavish to be? I have a few of his haunts in mind, and I'm trying to think what might be a good one. Hmm. I'm debating between a few of them. What would be a good setting for this scene? He hangs out in the train yard, kind of south by the metro.
Uh, Thank you. I'll find him.
What are you gonna do? I need a voice. I need to do voices. I need to start doing voices again. What are you gonna do?
I have things I need to say to him. Nothing malicious and nothing violent. Um, but I have choice words for him.
Okay. Be careful.
I will. I'm. Well, I don't know exactly what I'm dealing with. I know less about him than I would be, than I probably should. But, uh, yeah, whatever. I have to do this. The more I think about it, the less likely I'm going to do it, so I'm just gonna stop worrying about it.
Just like, well, good luck. Text me after. Thumbs up emoji.
Okay. Text me if you need anything before tomorrow. Gonna be busy afterwards.
Okay.
Alright. Alright. And I suppose Sal would just sort of would make her way at a leisurely pace and skulk around the metro station, working her way through, like, by the train yard. Would he, like, take shelter within the cars themselves?
No. So actually, I would like you to make like a basically trying to find him roll. Um. Wits or intelligence and survival or awareness.
Let me see what I got. I can do that. Wits and survival. That is probably my best option here. Let me get my dice roller up. It's gonna be 5 dice. How's my hunger looking? Still at 1.
Cool.
Alright. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, that's a crit. That's a crit. So 10, 7, 10, 5, 9. 9 is the hunger die.
Yeah, so that's 6 successes.
Yes.
I was looking for 4. So you do succeed. Yeah, Tavish is hanging out in the train yard underneath like a... What's the best way to put it? There's like a little housing nearby that looks like it's probably meant to be covering some sort of like drainage exit or overhang for stored materials or something like that. It's more akin to like a weird little open shed. It's not really something that's meant to store people. But you can just make out that McTavish is sitting in there. Well camouflaged, if not for the fact that you were very keenly looking for him.
Hmm. Wonderful.
Are you intending to make yourself known?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sal is just going to, since there's not much of a door, I'm guessing.
No, it's open. There's like no front panel. It's like 3 walls and a roof.
Sal's just gonna sort of pick up, pick up like a beer bottle and go clink, clink, clink on her skateboard as she approaches.
You can tell that Tavish is watching you, because his eyes reflect like cat's eyes a little bit.
Hmm. Hi there. Hiding in a new hole, I see. Sorry, that was a wrong language. Ugh, whatever. Hi. So, I don't expect you to talk or anything. You don't seem like the much to talk or the much to respond, but I just needed to make my thoughts known.
He shifts a bit. He's sitting on like this kind of big lumpy form that's covered by a tarp. He kind of like shuffles over so there's room next to him and like leans back and like picks up what is clearly a beer and is just like,
I'll just barf it up later.
fair.
And don't have much of a taste. Um, we. I'm fairly impulsive at times, I will admit that, but I understand the kind of situation we and the rest everybody find ourselves in. We live a life that nobody will accept, and if it is that sort of what kind of life is known, everyone involved is at risk and, well, likely to be killed. And to prevent that, there are often times when things must be covered up. I understand the practical necessity of those actions. It is for the safety of everybody involved that you do the kind of things you do.
I follow you.
So I want to make it known that I understand exactly the reason you do everything you did what you did back there. But I want you to understand that I still hate you for it. I think, like every single one of us, you have in yourself a monster, and while it might not have let itself known, that part of yourself is monstrous. None of us did. Nobody. I didn't know him long, but I know he didn't deserve to be put down like like a chicken on a farm. And I don't care who he was or what he did. No new blood deserves that kind of fate. No matter how garish or stupid or desperate. I fucked up. I lost control, but
You weren't the one in that room who fucked up.
I could take that either two ways. If you're talking about it literally wasn't me, yes. If you're talking about the other one, fuck off. Yes, he did. But which young one of us hasn't fucked up like that? You have tell me when you were still a young dead, you didn't do anything incredibly fucking stupid.
When I was young, I didn't bring the Second Inquisition into my domain. Endangering my sire, my brothers and sisters, the kindred I love. I was not a fire that spread to everything I was around.
But you could have been just like every single one of us could have been.
Yeah, but we aren't. I find the speculation unuseful. I'm a kind of practical person that deals with practical problems. The hypotheticals don't really. That's Anita's thing.
And tell. Whatever.
Sorry for your loss. It sucks. I know.
I don't want your sympathy. Especially not yours. You know what? Fuck it. You still have that beer.
Yeah. He tosses it to you.
A tempting blush of life.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
I was
a
about to
rouse
say
check,
you'll have
right?
to. Yep, just a rouse check. You can tell by his visage that he has blushed for this.
1.
Oh, well, you get hungrier. But you also get to drink a beer.
Yeah. You know what? That's worth it. See you around. tosses the empty bottle back.
He catches it. So yeah.
And I think that, and from there, Sal doesn't really know what to do. From there, they need to decompress.
That's
Maybe
reasonable.
on their way out, they just sort of punch a freight car, not or a passenger car,
Yeah.
something like that along those
That
means.
probably hurts.
Yeah, it does. But they need to.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah.
And from there, I don't exactly know what she would do. Well, all right, I guess she would text me and say, "I am still alive."
Oh, good. That's always appreciated.
Yeah, yeah,
I've got work if you want it.
sure. I could use something to get off my mind. What do you need? Get stuff off my mind. What do you need?
Want to go to a party or be a courier?
Which courier feels more like what I need, but what would you like me to do?
It's a good question. I'd appreciate it if you brought some documents, some info to a friend of mine and kept it quiet, you know? The usual.
I'll I'll do what I can.
Sure. Pickups in Riverside. Drop offs. Uh, Where is their domain? University campus. So south and farther south.
I got it.
Sure.
And I guess Sal will think one more thing. I guess I'm trying to think of what she would um hmm, what she would say. If you don't mind me asking, before, how did you meet McTavish?
Similar wavelengths. Um, you know what? Deliver this document, and we can just talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. We don't have to play out your pickup and drop off if you don't want to. But I would like you to make at least one roll.
Yes, totally.
One for knowledge and one for performance. So, what kind of navigate the city without getting spotted by the Second Inquisition kind of skills do you have?
Let's see. As far as physically getting around without being seen goes, Sal does not have much stealth. She has good dexterity. What she does is good at is, well, staying composed with it while in plain sight. She knows the city streets well, as she has spent her time around them, and she knows how people act around them. She is very streetwise.
Awesome.
I think I don't want to she can essentially stay she can, yeah, she can get around and
Yeah.
seem like
Composure
she
streetwise
belongs.
sounds good.
Yeah.
They're just
Hooray.
trying to blend completely in.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. And
Is that your successes?
yes, 3 successes.
All right. You do pretty well as far as you know.
Okay.
The other thing I would like you to do is roll intelligence politics to see if you know where this drop off is happening and the relevance of that.
Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have to rouse for this.
If you'd like
Rouse.
to.
Yes. Let's see. Rouse 6.
All right. You do
So
not
that's
get
2
hungry yet.
additional dice. 2 additional dice, right?
Correct.
More than. And then I'm going to spend 1 willpower and reroll 1 die.
All right.
3 successes.
It's a lot.
Yep.
You do. You do not know relevantly. This is the considerably very small domain of the still Camarilla aligned Bruja.
Oh. That's interesting.
Yeah. Where'd my book go? There it is. I'll even give you the name of the head of this domain, which is Critias. Critias.
Critas.
I'll put it in text for voice.
Oh, okay, thank you. Cretius. Okay. And I suppose.
Also known as Dr. Cretius. In the PhD sense, not in the medical sense.
Yeah. Crap. And I'm in their domain, so one of the. Again, I'm a little fuzzy. One of like the polite thing to do is make myself known when I enter somebody else's domain, correct?
That's more true for like princes and cities than it is for individual like if you are being extra proper and high etiquette, then yes.
But not this.
Right, like this would more be an inconvenience because you're not staying there, you're just passing through. Like that would be more true if you were like moving to the area.
Yeah.
Or if you were setting up some kind of significant business inside of someone else's domain. But if you're just passing through, you don't need to find the leader and say hi every time.
Okay, awesome. Then Sal will.
It's a blind drop-off point, so it's just like a random mailbox that Anita noted.
Yeah. Sal will definitely will drop it in and keep going.
Cool.
Although she will take a quick peek at like first like couple words. Well, would she take a peek at the documents? Yes, I would take a peek at the documents.
Awesome. Yeah, it's what's the best way to describe it? It's a little hard to parse initially. Like it looks like some kind of report, but it wasn't written by Anita. It's got an author you don't recognize, and it's about some such. And also it has attached to it like a list of names followed by numbers.
Sounds very cryptogrammy.
Yeah, without a lot of context, it's kind of hard to figure out what that is. But, you know,
Sounds like the way they would communicate.
you can always ask about
And
it. Who knows?
shoves it in the mailbox.
Yeah.
And, and then wanders off.
Yeah. Head back to Anita's place.
Yeah. I don't think she knows exactly where that is.
Yeah, so I think Anita actually decides to give you instructions to her actual haven. Which, when she gives you the address, you may be a little surprised by, because it looks like a mega condemned house. Like Roadhouse. It's, like, tattered as hell externally. But when you, like, actually arrive and Anita, like, comes over and opens the door for you, the interior is, like, it's way nicer. It's actually been well furnished and well cared for, and it's pretty immediately obvious that the exterior is a purposefully crafted facade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but she's got, like, nice furniture and, like, a kitchen and rooms and stuff. Doesn't appear to be anyone else here. Like, no housemates, no I was about to say hive, herd. Doesn't entertain other people very frequently.
Yeah. Self said, I was half expecting another dilapidated pile of tinder, but wow.
Gotta have somewhere to sleep, right?
Yeah, I was thinking just like a bed. That's what I have.
You know, connections, you know, they help.
Yes. Like what kind of furnishing am I looking at? Give me a vibe.
It's a good question. Matching reclaimed thrift store furniture. So, like, it's not like designer furniture, it's not minimalist space, but it's clearly been assembled with some amount of care and been selected such that it all actually matches together into a cohesive interior design.
So like frugal, but definitely with an aesthetic sensibility.
Yeah. Also, like, retro goth. There's a lot of, like, kind of rockabilly aesthetic stuff. And more kind of, like, 60s, 70s decor vibes.
Okay. Okay, I get that.
Lots of black, though, still. It's the way of things.
Let's see. And
Anita herself is in, like, more comfortable, like, black jeans, tank top combo.
Neat.
Less of the more precisely groomed goth makeup aesthetic.
Yeah. 70. No, one sec. I just have to look up 70s furnishings for a second.
It's the kind of stuff you'd see in, like, your current grandparents' homes.
Yeah. Yeah. Sal said, kind of looks like, and I mean this in the best way possible, kind of looks like if my mom's furniture was 200% more ostentatious and cool.
Funny. Yeah, no, I you know, it's good to keep the old vibes alive a little bit. Trying to keep a hold of myself in some ways, you know.
Yeah. It's always nice to be reminded of home in some way, I suppose.
So, Tavish, you wanted to know. Um, so, weird, and this may come as a surprise to you. I've been doing the civil disobedience thing for a very long time. Not just
Yeah.
extended to kindred society. So, when were you? And this is feel free to refuse if this is too personal. When were you embraced? How long have you been a kindred?
This will probably be about 14th year. It's 2011. I think.
Yeah,
About year 14 back in 97.
gotcha. So you probably weren't around for the Vietnam protests?
No, but my uncle was.
School, right?
Well,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
well,
Um,
he wasn't around for it. He was more overseas
mm-hmm.
around for it in that he refused to do anything.
Hmm.
He
It's
was
odd.
he was cool.
Good.
I should tell you about him sometime. He actually has artwork here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so when all that happened, um, Tavish was a vet that was at the protest with us. So we hung out, got to talking. I was already embraced at the time. Um, and it turned out he was about to be. So we just kind of, our paths aligned, and he decided that there were people he wanted to protect while still at home when he started finding out about kindred society and its structures.
Hmm. And things just sort of worked out like that.
Yeah. He's got a strong internal compass. But he's done a lot for all of us. Um, I love the young rebels. I love their energy. But sometimes you need someone who can keep us from dying. And McTavish is that person.
Yeah. I guess it is a bit more important to be fully devoted to keeping that disobedience alive rather than just being the perpetual thorn in the ass.
But we need a lot of thorns and asses. But someone has to be the bush that they stay on. That was a really weird metaphor.
It
I don't fully stand behind
it
that.
works. It works. Just wish we didn't have to cut off the dead branches.
Yeah.
Or the burning ones. I'm probably not going to get over it for a while.
That understandable. We have a tendency, people like us, letting go can be hard. And sometimes you don't. You say, fuck it, I'm not going to let go. And that's fine. And she gets kind of like a look.
Wait, like what do you mean? Sorry, I kind of lost track for a second. I was thinking of where I was going.
When she mentions that sometimes you refuse to let go, and then she just gives like a very intense look at nothing in particular.
Yeah.
motivation.
Yeah. I remember, it's just, I remember when I was younger, I think I was probably about, actually, it was probably back in, probably about 1990. No, yeah, 90, yeah, 90. My grandpa died, and feelings across the family were very, very, very varied. My uncle didn't have a lot. Well, I didn't. My uncle didn't have much to say. My mom grieved,
Hmm.
and I refused, and I couldn't understand it, cause my grandpa, as far as I knew him, was a piece of shit. The kind he was. He was a. We're from Indiana. I'm from Indiana, and
I'm
he
sorry.
is. She actually laughs at that. And he's the more very classic conservative kind of man. Very, very big family values kind of person. My mom eloped,
Hmm.
and that did not sit well with him. So, and they didn't, and so he essentially just cut her out of his life. Among, at least that's as far as I know, could have been a lot of things for all I knew. I never learned too much about it before, I got. But I couldn't, and the and the way he treated her, and the way he just didn't sort of denied her existence and my existence, I learned to hate him for it. And when he died, and my mom started bawling and just crying her eyes out, I couldn't fucking understand why. My uncle hated him for cutting her off. As soon as he as soon as she cut her. I mean, well, he'd been cut off for years at that point. He for the shit he pulled in Nam, like refusing to take orders,
Mm-hmm.
and well, she but she respected her, but I just couldn't. I couldn't, and I said nothing but until after the funeral and his ashes. She decided, my mom, that it was best to keep the ashes on the freaking windowsill in the living room. And that I just couldn't accept. Why on earth, I thought, would she fucking keep his ashes around? Just keep the ashes of that piece of shit who might as well have just ruined the great majority of her 30s and made her miserable. And one point I couldn't take it. We fought, and I took the urn and I smashed it in her face.
Hmm.
That was the kind of. And long story short, I ran for like a day And then my Uncle Louis had to sort of talk me and coax me back home. But he kind of told me something that kind of informs how I try to live. He, when he was trying to explain why I did what I did hurt my mother and why it was not necessarily the right thing to do, even though I was perhaps justified in my anger. He said there are things worth destroying and others that are not. Destroying something that helps somebody grieve is not worth it. Destroying something that keeps somebody going is not worth it. It's something along those lines. But point is, he told me there are other things worth destroying rather than somebody else somebody else's emotions. Something I'm losing track. But I refuse to accept that he was worth destroying. And there's this piece of art I like, a little piece of political art. It's essentially a Prime Minister Netanyahu building a sort of wall out of the corpses of dead dead people. And as provocative as that was, I think it because no amount of security is either worth or acceptable when made out of countless bodies. And I know I'm not rambling here, but either way, that's the way I think about things.
No, yeah.
And I'm sorry it took me so
No,
long to get to that.
you're reminding me of one of my I've had a few different philosophy professors, and one in particular I think would aggressively agree with you, because if you've got a bit of a few and many situation, right? If your security comes at the cost of many others' lives, then what's the fucking point? But my ethics education got a lot more complicated after I was embraced. Because you have to stay alive. Or you don't. I met a man once, Kindred, who was very thoughtful, interested in the was accepted into the Camarilla briefly, sought out the Anarch movement, was really looking at all his options, really wanted to see what everyone was about. And then the last words he said to me, after a very long conversation about a million different things, just went, I think I've chosen, and I think I found the only real option. And then he walked into the sun. Because he believed with all his heart that this existence itself was inherently harmful. That you can't be kindred and not cause harm. I disagree, obviously. I think what we are doing now, what I am attempting in at large, is to find a more equitable arrangement for kindred of all ages and types, but not just with other kindred, but with people, humans. Because there are ways to, obviously, to drink without killing, even drink without harming. Many in our fold, though it can be incredibly difficult or rare at times, practice informed consent when feeding, which is a challenge. I wish it were a peaceful existence. But it's not. And I don't think it will ever be, no matter how close we might try to get.
Be realistic, demand the impossible.
Exactly.
Kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. Fuck, you'd make such a good anarch.
Thank you. I've never considered myself a philosopher. I've more hit something with a skateboard.
Direct action. No, I get it. I heard the fucking stunt you pulled at Annabelle's party.
Fucking.
That was a hell of a thing.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. It. It felt fucking good. The guy was just so fucking asking for it too.
No, and I've been to my fair share of higher tier social events. I have to be pretty careful there. I hope the sheriff doesn't murder me on the way out or whatever. But
yeah.
that I would have traded in all the favors I have to see that.
Oh yeah, fuck. I still got that favor from her. I don't even know what to do with that.
Hold on to it. You might need it at some point, but don't be afraid to use it. It's not worth anything if you just hold on to it. So,
yeah.
Think of when the time's right. My general purpose is hold on to it. Don't try and find a way to spend it. But if you ever think of something that would be nice, just do it.
Yeah.
I find that favors often lead to others.
Just hope it doesn't lead to me owing any.
You will, probably eventually, if you want people's help in things.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate part of existence
is that
in kindred in general is right. You can't do everything yourself. Alone. You can't live alone.
Yeah.
Even kindred. I know I'm just talking about other kindred that I enjoy the philosophies of. A kindred in particular, before the end of ShrekNet. Yeah, I know. The big green oafs kind of ruined that one now, huh? I'm sure the Nosferatu are mad about that. There's an anonymous kindred who used to post frequently taunting the Camarilla so openly because they believed themselves to be the ultimate vampire. Because with all the kindred's power, with all the effort and money and wealth expended just to keep the little organization safe and secret and everyone in line, they couldn't do what that kindred did, which is disappear, which is come out to feed and be gone before anyone could possibly identify them. And they're still anonymous. Their posts have stopped because ShrekNet's down, but I would not be surprised if they were on some fucking corner of Twitter somewhere, continuing to taunt the very notion of organization. Sometimes I think they're the true anarch. Just that even this much organization is too much, but against the odds of the Camarilla and hunters and the world and exposure,
Compromise has to be made.
organization's important.
Yeah.
Direct action is one thing, collective action is another.
And it's the only one that ever seems to quite work. Fuck.
Yeah. You're fun to talk to. I always do enjoy interacting with you.
Oh, thanks.
Surprised you didn't find us sooner, considering your whole everything.
Look, when you're... I usually have a tight schedule. Art, education, bullcrap. I don't know why he's been quiet lately. It's been weird. But yeah, thank God he's been like
Who's your
Jeffrey.
sire?
Jeffrey.
Dahmer?
Person you've what?
Dahmer?
I don't know. He's Jeffrey.
Oh.
He said something about last names being some sign of cultural hegemony or something like that. Some asinine crap.
I mean, you know, that's a take.
Something stupid. I don't know. He's weird, and
yeah, I imagine so.
No.
Well, I can tell you we've been up to quite a bit, honestly. Working on the smokescreen campaign for Sylvia. It's been going well so far. Yeah, it's been going fine. As far as we can tell, it's working. Their manpower has been reducing very slowly. But my concern primarily at the moment is just... I hope Sylvia can handle this before the council finds out too much. Really need her. I would hate to see her lose her domain.
Yeah. Me too.
Especially to that fucking bastard son. Certifiably the worst.
Yeah. Oh. Sylvia talked to you lately?
Not in particular. I think we communicated a few days ago at one point. With effectively just a confirmation on the go-ahead of the smokescreen operation.
Sal sort of scrunches her face a moment. Just tries to think, fuck. How much do I say here? And how much do I leave to Sylvia? I'll try to keep you in contact, because things are always changing and things are rapidly changing. Because Sylvia wants me to do something, and it involves the council in some way.
Alright. I guess I wouldn't be surprised because has been a lot going on in her domain recently, so...
Yes.
Would make sense that they'd know something is going on, even if they don't know what.
I will let you tell. I'll try to let her do most of the explaining.
Okay.
Yeah. God, that's not very fuck the man of me, is it?
It's not very fuck the man of you to what?
just a fucking no. This is disrespectful.
I think I understand the sentiment, but I don't know under what definition I would say Sylvia is, broadly speaking, the man.
Yeah, not really.
I mean, that's one of the
The man
reasons
is,
we're safe in her domain.
yeah, but she isn't. Yeah.
Because she's not awful to us constantly. She's not calling blood hunts as soon as she sees some unaligned poor sap who just got turned 24 hours beforehand.
Yeah.
Haven't been many blood hunts in Chicago.
Fuck, I never even got to learn much about it. God, now I'm thinking about him again. Fuck, I don't want to think this. I never got to learn much about. I never got to learn much about Silas anyway. Wonder if he was very secretive. Whatever. All right.
Got a spare room if you need to stay. If I got a spare room if you need to stay, but also obviously feel free to head back to your own domains.
Yeah, I don't mind staying here, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Change of spot would be a nice breath of fresh air before I freaking have to work.
Sure.
Yeah.
Most of the lie-down furniture is couches. There are actually surprisingly few beds in the apartment.
Couch surfed before. Sal's couch surfed before.
There's actually like one of the most comfortable looking couches is actually this like very large kind of pseudo elaborate leather fainting couch. That's like long enough to lay down on and has like the distinctive like asymmetrical.
Very curved.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm guessing it's getting early.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm gonna turn in. If you also don't know if you've ever skateboarded or anything, but skateboard is right here. If you want.
My coordination isn't quite on the level, I don't think.
Sure, nobody's is. But yeah, respect it.
Good to know.
Just remember to try and have fun.
Have good sleep.
Becomes still as a corpse.
Yep, exactly. It just reverts into corpse mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Anita does shortly. Yeah.
God, but how the fuck does Sal not get...
That was a really fun, long conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Now I'm just trying to think of how fucking Sal doesn't get to the fucking meeting.
Yeah.
And how that doesn't involve anything incredibly disastrous.
So, one thing Anita would like you to do at some point is actually, like, go to effectively a Primogen party just to snoop around and find out what they know.
Oh. Well, I guess Sal has ways of doing that.
You don't have to... I'm not going to make you spend your favor to do it, because I bet if you express interest, Annabelle will just invite you.
Awesome.
Because Annabelle likes you now. Annabelle thinks you're kind of cool and edgy.
Ah, sweet.
She's also profoundly more pretentious than you, but she's more in the upper echelon art world.
Yeah, that would seem like that.
We don't have to play that out immediately either. We can just say that that's a thing that you do.
Yes, that is definitely a thing Sal does.
Okay. But it is going to be happening when Sylvia gets the gang together. Do you want to tell Sylvia about it? Or do you want to forget to tell Sylvia about it?
God.
Or do you want to purposefully not tell Sylvia about it? Because it is valuable information. Like, the reason Anita wants to do this is for the benefit of Sylvia's domain.
Sorry, this is a very tough decision.
It's a fun one. It says a lot about Sal.
Number 3 is off the option. Sal wouldn't purposefully do that without telling her.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, especially since she's made an arrangement.
Or we can make a determination about how the party goes. I think either of the first two options can say a lot about Sal. We can also say that, like, you go to the party early and you can't leave until much later than expected. And that is not a thing that you anticipated.
It's true, but I kind of want to... I'm sorry, mind if I just think for a minute?
Yeah, please do.
Alright, because Sal essentially, quote-unquote, calling home to Sylvia feels like something she would do, but also completely forgetting and just not is also definitely something.
I think making Sylvia as a character worried because you didn't show up could be an interesting piece of dramatic tension.
Yes. Yeah. The only hang up I have is because I don't want to cause trouble, and I know I'm going to have to deal with the consequences of that in character.
Yeah, but it's fun. You're going to make Mom mad.
Sal...
Or worried, rather.
Sal will forget.
Okay.
Sal will do a Theseus and forget to put up the right sails.
Excellent.
That is very good.
Cool. In that case, I don't have a lot more for you currently. I know it was short, but it was also a full hour of playtime focused exclusively on you.
Yeah, it was very fun, no. And also, having that very long conversation was fun.
Yeah.
Even though I kind of botched the personal backstory and what I was trying to tie it into in a way.
It'd be that way sometimes.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll figure out party stuff at some point. Maybe at the beginning of the session after this one, or if we end up needing to do another private session. Second, unrelated thing. I'm actually going to stop the recording.